Hello. Hi, and welcome back, you lovely so-and-sos, to Narcissu. Last time we were together, things started coming together. We now have a plan. We have a destination. Popular tourist spot, Awaji Island, which I do believe is known for some really nice beaches. So definitely looking to get our vacay vibes going on. It may be winter, but that's not gonna stop us. We are on the run, having some fun, and Daddy hasn't taken the T-Bird away. So let's do it! Around when the sun had darkened into night, some roadside somewhere, around when we'd finished our dinner, convenience store again. I wonder what's happened since we left. It doesn't really feel like anybody's looking for us. The white vinyl ID bracelet hanging loosely around my wrist, I murmured those words as I looked at the inscriptions, my blood type and name, and then the name of the hospital. Do you think they're in an uproar? Probably. Yeah. Parents, friends, and the doctors. And even if it were only a paper-thin display on their part, I was still a little sorry to think that they might be worried. My bad, Father, everyone. I did something selfish without consulting anyone. Say, what is it? When you first learned that you were going to die, did you cry? I was instantly shocked by her sudden question, and then I was silent as I pondered upon it some. Come to think of it, I don't think I cried. Then did you curse fate, asking, why me? I don't remember doing that either. At first I couldn't believe that it was actually happening, as if it weren't a part of reality at all. But maybe, just maybe, I did feel something. A little. One of my buddies from the Technical Institute bought a new car, and he was complaining about how he'd had to take out a huge loan. Some got their first jobs, others were still in school. Some had children, others got dumped by their girlfriends. But I had no future. So in truth, I think I did wonder why it had to be me. Even if I told myself that this was fate, I think I did feel as if I couldn't accept that. Well, how about you? Me? Yeah. Did you cry or curse fate? I was fine. And why? Because I never hoped for anything from the very beginning. Because I had given up. That's so. No way to despair if you'd given up from the beginning. You can't be let down if you don't expect the world. Not fun to turn your back. Not fun to turn your back that way, but not difficult either. But I couldn't help but feeling it was just too sorrowful that way. Or could it have been that in her case, there was no other possible course of action? I saw in a movie some time ago that wolves don't live more than 3 years. Huh? Wolves? She abruptly changed the topic on me. But donkeys live for 9 years or more. Why was that? Why 3 years for wolves and 9 years for donkeys? Donkeys live on because they're useful. Well, that's apparently the way it is. She murmured these words as she looked out the window impassively. So was this the thing that she told herself? To resign herself? To abandon herself to her fate? The midwinter sky at sunset, our progress straight through Route 21. The flickering white specks dancing in the twilight sky. It was starting to snow, and snow hard. Something the matter? Yeah, it's snowing. We got a freaking blizzard going on out here now. And sure enough, it looked like there was snow covering the roadsides. I had no idea when we'd entered a region of heavy snow, but as far as the eye could see, everything was draped in white. This was somewhat concerning. As far as I could tell, these tires weren't of the studless variety. If we ran into any snow heavier than this, it would likely be that we were going to be in trouble. Hey, does it snow here a lot? Huh? See, if it snows much more than this is gonna be rough. There wasn't any snow on the road right now, but it would be no surprise to encounter frozen road segments from here on out. And given that, it could very well become necessary to equip tire chains, something they hadn't gone over in training. So, do you know? After this, Sekigahara. Well, yeah, you told me that earlier, but what I want to know is if it snows a lot here. I don't know. I feel like that's maybe something she knows and she just doesn't want to jinx it. I think at this point it's like, dude, just go. Just go and we will go as far as we can. What does it matter anyway? She answered, somehow desolate. And it made me feel that there was something incongruous here. For someone who knew the roads this well, who knew just about everything about this car, something like that should have been child's play. Oh, very well, I'll just drive carefully. Okay. A beach. We had gotten off the car and were looking at a lake. A chilly wind kicked up, scattering a powder snow across the lake's frozen surface. And in its midst, she slowly began walking toward the beach, as if it were the ocean itself. This was a spectacle I had seen before. So what do you think? Are you asking me whether I think you would die without much pain if you walked in? Yeah, I get the feeling that it might be easier here than in the ocean. I have no idea what your basis for that is. Well, seawater is salty and your body floats more easily. Oh shit, we got a vocal theme. Don't mean to interrupt your very sentimental moment, but we do have jams. Quite a deductive ability you have then. Under the cold north wind and the falling snow, we argued jokingly. Seriously, who knew? About our one end point. And after a while, she began walking toward the lake once more. So you aren't going to stop me after all? You don't have any intention to die today, do you now? No, I guess not. How much further was it until the Awaji Island of which we'd spoken? It wasn't as if I particularly wanted to go there, but I didn't have any problem with going there either. But though we'd wandered without a purpose up until now, the seeds of a final destination were being born in us. The girl who had halted her progress towards the waters, even without my having to stop her. Most likely, that was the way it was for her too. We're making progress now. Get back on Route 1 for here. Got it. From Route 8 back to Route 1. Under the guidance of her navigation, we were now heading toward Kusatsu. Are we still okay on money? Yeah, we have 30,000 yen or so. After we'd hit the clothing store, we'd only spent money on convenience store food. Why? What's up? Then do you want to get on the tollway? The tollway? Why? Can't we get there through the normal highways? Well, yeah, we certainly can up until the very end. But for the final stretch, we have to get on a tollway for a while. I see. So that's how you get to Awaji Island. I didn't know it that well, but apparently in order to get there, we'd have to cross some bridge called Seto or something. Then get on the bypass from Kusatsu. Got it. Under her direction, I went from the Seta interchange to the Meishin Expressway. Compared to all the roads we'd been on so far, it was obvious that this was a real expressway. No traffic lights, a beautiful perspective, seemed pretty simple to even a beginner like me. But as I got on the rightmost lane, I could hear a terrific sound behind me. At first, I had no concept of a passing lane or anything, but as I got used to it, the expressway was almost fun. That's a pretty incredible car. Some car was passing by us at terrific speed, and without thinking, the two of us exchanged glances. And sure enough, from her passenger's seat, she was looking somewhat different than usual. While usually she'd be staring out the window into the distance, today she was looking around at other cars with great interest. Speaking of which, she knew a lot about cars, for some reason or other, didn't she? I pointed at a car that had just blown past us. Hey, what kind of car is that? A quiz to pass the time, see? Toyota Celica GTS. And the one we just overtook? Satorin Sara? I've literally never heard that name before. Once again, leave it to visual novels to let me know how much of an uncultured swine I am. That's what Flowers does to me on a regular basis. Flowers makes me understand how very unread and idiotic I am at most things in life. Wow, you know a lot. To tell the truth, I didn't know whether she was right or not, but it was really pleasant to hear words coming from her usual silent lips, so I kept plying her with questions. The blue one is a Mazda Unos, and the red one is an Alfa Romeo. Romeo? I probably said that wrong. It's probably Alfa Romeo. Again, this is what you get when you come to me. Like that should be my whole deal. The most uncultured visual novel reader you will ever find. That'll be my whole shtick from now on. She even told me about the two cars that were just passing us now. But I'm willing to bet you won't know what that is. I pointed to a truck, not a car, as I spoke. I wanted to see a little perplexity seep into that expressionless face of hers. So you don't know trucks that well, huh? Nissan Atlas 10. Oh, Jesus Christ, you're incredible. I'd been planning on teasing her, but instead she'd gone straight over my head. Isn't that level of knowledge something to be proud about? Really? Yeah, I think you could toot your own horn about it. We're in a car, toot your own horn. Yeah! Dude, on that line, they literally should have had a car horn beep. That would have been very funny. Even if that was just a localization thing, I would have popped that in. She had no words in response. It felt like she was blushing a little bit. So she loved cars after all. Then when we get there, you want to try driving? What? But I don't have a license. It'll be fine. Driving along the beach will be fun, don't you think? If we went all the way to Awaji Island, then there would be lots of places without any people. And this car had a stick shift, so I thought she might have fun driving it. If you want, I'll teach you. Although, to be honest, I'm a complete beginner myself, but hey, we've managed this far, and we've literally stolen the car and probably have, police bulletins out somewhere looking for us. So if I can do this under pressure, I'm sure that you as an absolute beginner, but also being probably much smarter of the two of us, you could probably pull this off. Got a lot of confidence in Setsumi right now. Okay. Yeah! All right, moving on to the next chapter. Echo. I'm not that stupid. You think I'm that stupid? You were actually sitting there thinking I'm that stupid. Around when the high-flying sun slowly started to drop into shadow, the silver coupe speeding along the tollway. Before long, the Katsuragawa parking area. A short break, a change of pace. Want to stop at the next rest area too? Huh? Okay. What's wrong? I guess I'm a little worn out. I see. And that probably wasn't unreasonable. She'd been pretty energetic a while back, and that was taxing on patients as sick as we were. Then I'll go buy something for you. Okay. I'll be back in a second. I rushed over to the snack stand and picked up a few things, no different from the standard convenience store fare. Here, a Picari sweat and rice balls, and potato chips. Oh, okay. Her response was the same as ever, but she didn't start eating at all. Under usual circumstances, she had already have torn into the potato chips by now. Are you okay? Could it be that you're not feeling so well? It's just that... Oh no! Oh, gee, yeah, we did say that we only brought a few days of medication, didn't we? Yeah, you kind of had to guess that this was gonna... You kind of had to guess that this was gonna rear its ugly head at some point, didn't you? I see. She was out. I'd been scared of that. Well, yes, we'd escaped the hospital. It was obvious it was going to happen. To be clear, it wasn't as if we were intentionally leaving meds behind, but I hadn't thought about it up until now. I hadn't even had the senses to think about it. When did you run out? Yesterday night. So you'll have been off of them 24 hours pretty soon. The doctors had told me that I could go on without my meds for 2 days or so. Maybe she was the same way. And when I thought about it, it had been 8 days already since we'd left the hospital. We have been driving around for 8 days! We have made quite an adventure of this. And given the amount of meds I'd brought with me, I could see the end of the line coming into view. Just what was I supposed to do? Hey, I don't want to be on the 7th floor. Yeah, I know. You don't want to be at home either. Yeah. The silver coupe in motion once again. Eventually, I got off the tollway into the next exit. I didn't know that was going to change things, but it wasn't as if staying on the tollway was going to help. I headed into an urban area from the one tollway exit, and I looked for a pharmacy attached to a large hospital, not to a small private clinic. It would probably have been just about to go to the hospital, and for any normal patient, that would have been obvious. But we were inhabitants of the 7th floor. The ID bracelets around our wrists were white, not blue. And we were escapees from the 7th floor at that. I circled around the neighborhood as I held those thoughts into my mind. Probably we were able to find what we needed at a pharmacy near a large hospital. I'm always that is always such a weird sentence structure for me. Found it. A university hospital at a major intersection and a couple pharmacies clustered next to it. I figured that this was as good as it got and stopped the car in a... I don't know what you think you're gonna do without a prescription, because I have to imagine that the meds she's on are not anything that you can get OTC. Hey, give me your medication bag. Oh, okay. She handed the bag over to me with a curious look on her face. I looked into the bag and took out the medication list therein. This is just what I needed. All right, I'll be right back. Leaving her in the car, I ran toward the nearby pharmacy. The automatic doors slid open and I walked in. I headed directly for the counter. Welcome! A middle-aged man came to the counter to greet me, probably a pharmacist given his white coat. Could I have these drugs, please? That's the first thing you say to a pharmacist. Can I have drugs? Yes, of course. Just that easy? With the medication list that I had given him, he retreated to the interior of the pharmacy. Why do you keep putting probably as the first word? That is like a road bump to try and read. This was probably a pharmacy affiliated with the hospital, not just your standard mom and pop outfit. I'd gotten my meds dispensed from places like this back when I was attending outpatient clinics. After all, it was right next to the hospital, so this place should have the meds we needed. Thank you for waiting. Here we are. The pharmacist had come back after a short time. He was holding 2 plastic bags, each of them full of medication bottles. With that amount, we'd be fine for now. That would probably last her for a week or so. And when I took out my wallet from my pocket, oh, may I? Yeah, I was about to say, do you have a prescription? That's usually what they do first. Like, you know, prescriptions usually like, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I had this called in. Do you have it? That's usually how that goes. I don't know that that's that different in Japan, but maybe. Prescription? Yes, as these are prescription medications. Dude, swipe it and run. What do you got to lose? Your doctor did give you one, yes? I'd forgotten about this. These were no ordinary medications, so I couldn't just waltz in and buy them. Is something the matter? As I stammered and stammered, the pharmacist looked on with suspicion. Wait, that's... And then he noticed the white ID bracelet on my wrist, the letters inscribed on it, my name, my blood type, and the name of the hospital. Uh-oh! Oh! The medications that he'd left on the counter. I swiped them up all at once. Oh! We're jacking these pills, baby. Let's go. Hey, stop right there. He shouted at me from across the counter, but that was to my back. I'd already started sprinting. Only 5 meters to the door. My legs were weak. I was wobbly, but I kept running nonetheless. And when I was about to sprint to the slowly opening door of the pharmacy, just then, oh no! Ow, damn! My senses whited out for a second. I'd hit my head on the edge of the automatic door so hard that apparently the glass in the door shattered. God damn, my guy! How about you hit that shit with the full force of a raging bull? Dizzy, almost syncopal. Syncopal? That is a new word that I am learning. Dizzy, almost syncopal, I forced open the half-closed door with my hands, and then I broke off in a dead sprint. I did not once let those medications go. I was out of breath, and I felt like fainting. Only a few more meters to the car, but it felt much longer. Nobody was giving chase to me, it seemed, but I didn't have the time to be looking behind me anyway, because if I got caught, then what would happen to her? Would she wait for my return forever alone in the car? No, I imagine they'd find her and that would basically be it. Police would be here pretty fast and they'd know that car. I think that this would be pretty open and shut if you got caught at this point. I ran for dear life with those feelings at heart, staggering, short of breath, saddened that this was all the strength I had. I collapsed into the driver's seat and floored the pedals. I was forced to realize that I was even weaker than I was at the pachinko parlor. And when I checked myself in the rearview mirror, there was blood on my forehead, maybe a glass shard. Well, hopefully the bleeding would stop soon enough. I applied pressure with a tissue as I drove. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. But you're bleeding. Don't worry about it, it's nothing. I waved my hand to tell her not to worry as she looked at me with concern. And then I handed over the medications that I had tightly clutched in my left hand. Here, take your meds. Oh, okay. For now, we would be fine. These meds would last for maybe a week. But what were we going to do when that ran out? I'd managed to get by pretty well today, but it was obvious that I was losing strength daily. We originally had no plan or destination. And you could not feel any fear of losing something that you did not already have. But things were a little different now. A purpose had been born, and so a fear of losing that purpose had also been born. That's feeling alive, my guy. That right there is a vitality. We're on a bridge! A painfully clear day, the empty expanses, the high heavens of winter above us. Back on the expressway, by now we had passed from the Suita Junction to the Hiroshima Road. Where are we going next? From the Kobe Junction, got it, to the Sanyo Expressway. Yeah. the silver coupe moving according to her navigation. By now, on the roadside distance indicators, every so often the words Awaji Island were appearing. We had already come 900 kilometers since we'd escaped from the 7th floor that day. I never have believed that we would make it, but our final destination was not far from us now, and soon we could see a bridge ahead of us. So this is the Akashi Kaikyo Bridge. Pretty incredible, huh? Yeah. It was hard to suppress a triumphant feeling, as if we could drive across the ocean on its expanse. After we'd driven along for a while, there were people stopped at the roadside here and there on the route to the bridge. Probably tourists or something, seeing as they were taking pictures and stuff. And just like those people, I stopped the car on the shoulder of the road. It's forbidden to stop here. If it's just for a little while, it'll be okay. As far as the eye could see, there were other cars that had done the same. Hey, come on, let's get some fresh air. It's probably an awesome view. Very well. She was a little reluctant, but she got out of the car with me anyway. In the midst of the strong cold winds atop the bridge, this is colder than I thought it would be. Yeah. It was all too much for us, since we had never really gotten out of the car. And in stark contrast to us, there were two people who seemed to be a couple not far from us. Looked like they were taking souvenir photos. Their happy voices carried all the way over to us. And when I looked around those two, I saw lots of families and tourist groups taking photos too. Souvenir photos, huh? Fair enough. One was supposed to take them at places like this. Come to think of it, is something the matter? Yeah, wait a second. Oh, okay. There was a camera in here somewhere. When I'd inspected the car interior the first time around, I saw a cheap disposable camera somewhere, I remembered. I still had a few shots left in it, if memory served. Having found the camera, I checked the film indicator. Oh good, still 2 shots left. Sorry for the wait. Come on, I'll take a picture of you. What? A photo! Might as well, you know. No. Oh, come on, don't be like that. Strike a pose or something. And I held up the camera toward her as I said this. Come on, look a little happy, won't you? But as if she were embarrassed, even when she turned to me, she had a little sour look on her face and nothing more. But it could well have been that even if she looked this way, she was trying her best to smile for me right now. With this at heart, I was about to take a photo of her when... Excuse me, could we ask you to take a picture? Oh, yes, of course. 2 people who looked like a couple coming towards us, holding a camera. Then I'll take the picture now. Please do. They stood close to each other happily and flashed a brilliant smile. I centered those 2 in the viewfinder and snapped a photo. Thank you very much. Now we'll take a picture of you 2. Oh, no, you're using this camera, right? Before I could answer, he'd taken my camera. Now it was more like he'd plucked it out of my hands. Probably wanted to get it over with as soon as possible, which is why he took the camera and ignored our hesitation. All right, you 2, get closer. At those words, I stepped a little closer to her body, and with her usual lack of expression, she helplessly stepped a little closer to me. Shouldn't you be posing a bit more? This meddlesome boyfriend character and his crazy demands. His girlfriend standing to the side, looking a little apologetic. And telling myself that I had no other choice. I slowly put my arm around her shoulder. Oh. The first time I'd ever touched her. The feeling of her childlike clothing and her waist-length hair under my hand. I couldn't see her face now that I was looking straight at the camera. But maybe, just maybe, she was gracing me with that never-before-seen shy, bashful, slightly sour look. Okay, I'm taking the picture now. Their business over, the couple started heading back to their car, and we were doing the same. My girlfriend, huh? Pretty bad misunderstanding, huh? Or could it be that we look that way to others? My words, spoken lightly and in jest, and enjoying myself for some reason, I kept speaking to her in that tone. What do you, Tatsumi, what do you think? What's it that? You're younger than me. And with those words, as usual, she turned back to look out the window. And just as usual, I couldn't see what kind of facial expression she was wearing, but I could tell that she wasn't looking far into the distance. She was turning away because I was making her bashful. Oh. All right. We're gonna call that one there. That was a cute little scene. I want to see the damn picture, though. I know obviously you can't because it's a disposable camera and all the like. And oh, that's so cute. She was bashful. She wanted a picture taken too. Oh, all right. Well, that is gonna do it for this run. Kind of feel like we are closing in on the finale now, so I think maybe the next one will be the last. I'm not sure. I know this game's only about 2.5, 3 hours, and we've been going about that long so far. So anyway, as always, thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a nice rest of your whatever, wherever you are, and we will catch you back here next time. Bye!